I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncers' guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm on your turf, Andy and Darren. I'm at Talk Sport. It's a big fight week in the capital. Joyce v Zhang live on BT Sport. Big fans of Joe Joyce?
Yeah, we love Joe Joyce.
And Zhang. I love Zhang too.
Yeah, we don't know too much about Zhang, but Joe's been in our studio a couple of times, drive time, weekdays from 4 p.m. And I just think he's a monster, you know, the size of him and the fact that he doesn't seem to feel anything. And he's got a great personality. I love watching him fight. And I think he'll win, actually. I think he'll win Saturday night.
Darren, your thoughts on Joe Joyce?
Yeah, I like him. I think he's ready now because he's not getting any younger. As I said, he's quite old, certainly for this stage of his career. But listen, I feel he will be a world champion at some stage. I expect him to get past Zhang. I think it'll be a tough fight. But I hope so, because I think when you look at the state of the heavyweight division, certainly at the top end, people are not fighting each other. I think if you put Joe Joyce in the mix, I think at some stage he's going to become heavyweight champion for sure.
That's a really good answer.
Thank you.
Mine was just he's a beast and he likes getting hit.
No, I like to go into depth.
That's really good, yeah.
Into depth.
We should do that on the show more often.
God. Yeah, as you say, really, after this one, if he gets past Zhang, you're looking at, you know, he's mandatory for Alexander Usyk. You've got a big maybe money fight with Anthony Joshua, a Tyson Fury fight, because he's free at the moment. So it's got to be a big one, really, for Joe next.
Yeah, I asked him actually on air if he'd fight AJ next, because AJ supposedly come out and said his next fight's going to be in December, but there's no opponent for that yet. And I asked him on air, and he said it's all down to the numbers, which I get. You know, these boxers can't commit. But then if he fights AJ, that wouldn't be for a world title shot. So I think it's all dependent on whether or not he thinks his next fight after Saturday, if he wins it, should be for the world title. But I'd love to see him against AJ. I think that would be maybe too difficult for AJ. You know, I think AJ needs a couple of relatively easy fights before he takes on a top-class opponent. So I don't know if that would happen or not, but it'd be great to see.
I know as fans we get very frustrated. You know, you just said the fights that we want to see sometimes don't happen, and Fury Usyk was so close. Fury Joshua in December was very close as well. But you've got an ex-Premier League footballer here, of course, Darren Bent.
Oh, sorry.
And these guys are, you know, they're putting their lives on the line in the ring. And with football, it's different because you've got your Premier League and your championship games scheduled. You know who you're playing next Saturday. So with these guys, they don't know whether it's going to be the last time they enter a ring. So do you think sometimes we can be a bit critical? And really, it is about the money. Do you think sometimes we can be a bit harsh as fans, Darren?
Maybe a little bit, but I think it's because we're coming from. You look at certainly a few years back, where the best would fight the best. That was it, simple as that. I know there's a lot of governing bodies which don't help, but you talk about money, and yeah, I fully respect. Every time they get into the ring, they could lose their lives, but obviously money comes with the money fights. So if you have these big fights against the likes of Tyson Fury, Usyk, Joe Joyce, all in the mix, Deontay Wilder, you're going to get paid for it. So I don't like it to be ducking and having to wait for fights. I think AJ's had his tune-up fight now. He just beat Franklin. Now it's on to every fight now should be a big fight, and hopefully it's either Wilder, Joe Joyce, somebody. But I don't want to see any more of these tune-up fights now. These guys have been world champions. They're past that. It's about fighting for world titles, and hopefully that will happen in December.
Can I just say, that's another really good answer.
Darren's on form here.
Can I swear?
Of course you can.
I've never fucking heard you talk like that
Right,
before. That's amazing
kids
work.
Kids could be watching this. Kids could be watching this.
They've got worse words than that in the playground. Yeah, they have.
What was your guys' honest thoughts on Joshua's performance against Franklin?
I'll let him answer that first because he is really gone.
I heard Tony Bellew who talked to Simon Jordan and Jim White, and Tony said that he expected a knockout, and we didn't get that. It wasn't a great performance. From AJ's perspective, it was all about the win, and he got the win. But I saw nothing from that performance that makes me think he's going to go on to become world champion again. So I just think if he's going to be world champion, he does need to up his game a bit. But listen, it's his first fight back for a long, long time, and after 2 defeats on the bounce. So
you got the win. That's the main thing.
Last one before I let you go. Who won, Eddie Hearn or Simon Jordan?
Oh, I'm talking sport every single day of the week. Simon Jordan.
Stoppage or knockout?
By words that I don't even know what they mean. After that interview, I had to go and get a thesaurus and Google most of them as well afterwards. Simon Jordan every day. I would never take on Simon Jordan. He's far too clever, good. But he does dye his hair with lemon juice. I'll just let you in for a little. He's ginger. and he uses lemon juice to dye his hair.
That can't be true.
That is, yeah. If
I
that's
don't
not,
know
Simon
about
was
that, so that's
Simon
him.
would sue me. If that's so, come on, Simon. Where are you at?
I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17, 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncers' guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,